Welcome to ISE's Equity Index Weekly Outlook, a weekly outlook on ISE and other industry indexes, hosted by Patrick Ceresna, a derivative market specialist and investment manager with extensive expertise in options and the broader derivative markets. ISE trades options on more than 15 proprietary sector indexes, as well as broad-based indexes and a variety of licensed benchmarks. ISE continually enhances its trading systems and develops new index options products to provide investors with the best marketplace and investment tools to trade smarter.
Hello and welcome to your ISE Equity Index Outlook for February 21st, 2010. This is Patrick Ceresna. First off, we're going to look at the S&P 500 using that SPDR exchange traded fund symbol SPY. We've had a market that is now rallied all of last week, pushing right up into the top end of the retracement zones on the upside. Begs the question as to whether or not the bulls will be able to to rally this market above these zones and have it retest those previous highs. At this stage, if the bulls cannot overcome this area and we start seeing selling coming in early next week, we can't rule out that the next wave of a sell cycle begins sometime off of this area, which would have us retest down into that 103 to 104 zone at minimum before we have any sort of a bounce. But in the same regards, at this juncture, we can't rule out the possibility that we're going to go for a retest of the previous highs. If we do, so we're going to take the cube by looking at the price action in the first few days of trading. If we have any rally that pushes higher, at that point it will be clear that the market is going to come for some sort of a retest up along the highs before another sell cycle begins. So depending on whether or not we get a pop up on Monday or not, will be dependent on how the scenario plays out. Next, I want to take a look at the ISE U.S. Regional Banks Index, which is the symbol JLO. And we, after that top came in around that 22.5 to 23 area on the upside, we subsequently saw a retest of the 21 area basically on the downside, which is basically where all the tops came in during that entire September to December consolidation. At this stage, there's nothing bearish about this pattern yet. What would be the so at this stage we're going to treat it with a bullish bias that it could come back up to the previous highs. But if this entire rally that we've seen over the last 2 weeks on the regional banks fails to push the price action to higher highs in the upcoming weeks, and we start to see a rollover, especially if it happens at a midpoint somewhere in this $22 range where we're currently at, then it would open the window for a break of some trend lines, and any break then under that 20.5 to 21 focal point would see us come back and retest even that 18.5 to 19 zone. So we're going to be watching as to whether or not there is any follow through. Next here, I want to take a look at the ISE Index, which is the symbol SIN. This is an index of all the casino, tobacco, and distiller companies. Basically, after completing a move down into that 98 to 100 support line on the bottom side, we're now working our way higher here into what we call our retracement zone in this 102 to 105 area. It'll be very interesting to see whether or not this blue box contains all of the upside price action, because if we see it kind of consolidate here and then roll back down, that would open the window for another bearish move on the downside on this index. The only way that we would go back to more of a trade range bound bias would be if we saw a good solid push that thrust above the 105 level and pushed all the way towards the previous highs. Next year, I want to take a look at the ISE Home Builders Index, which is symbol RUF. We continue to see healthy price action here. No reason to be overly bearish. The only way that we would consider a bearish scenario is if we saw a huge red reversal candle come in here that started seeing this market trading below the $10 area on the ISE index. At this juncture, though, if we see very shallow consolidations up along this top line of overhead resistance and a subsequent break above that 1060 level, it would open the window for a rally all the way back up to those previous highs up in near that 1125 to 1150 focal point on the upside. Next year, I want to take a look at the ISE Natural Gas Index, which is a symbol FUM, that lows that we put in around that 95, 97 focal point on the downside a couple of weeks ago held in very well, and we see a very robust rally back up. The strength of this entire rally higher is a good indication that we're going to see far more range-bound price action in this natural gas index than to see bearish price action. We still expect the overhead resistance to be pretty strong as it approaches up into this 113 to 115 area, but it's certainly not a bearish bias. Finally, I want to take a look at the ISE Mini FTSE 100 Index, which is a symbol UKX. And overall, the FTSE found a good support line along that 500 to 505 area. And so far, the rally has been very robust, coming back on the upside. It's now completed its move to what we now have, that 530, 535 focal point on the upside. If this is only going to be a retracement in the UKX, then we should see some sort of reversal candles coming in somewhere at this price level, which would have us return back down to the previous lows around the 500 to 505 area. But if we see a bullish breakout higher above this 535 level, it will open the window for a double top retest at minimum back up to the 550, 555. So watching Monday's price action will be critical. That was your ISE Equity Index Outlook. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for participating in this week's session. Please join us again next week. For more information about Patrick Ceresna and to sign up for free index options trade alerts, visit www.optionsource.net. To learn more about ISE index options, visit us at www.ise.com/indexoptions.